Hello again, golf fanatics. It's Billy Ho here, coming at you with the first DFS preview show for the Masters. We're only a week and a half away or so. So, what I did was this year I created sort of an evergreen course preview show for Augusta National. Tells a tale hole by hole, describing each shot, how you want to play it. It's a really, really good course preview. That way, that's out of the way. Now we can focus on the players and DFS strategy and one and done, things of that nature. So, if you are new to the channel, please subscribe and hit that like button. If you're into golf, I focus mainly on the horse racing. Kentucky Derby is my biggest time of the year. So if you're into horse racing, check out that content because it is among the best, in my opinion. Also, DraftKings has the contests out for and pricing out for the majors or for this major, the Masters, and my contest, which is called Billy Ho's Masters, and it is by Free Drop Billy. I am Free Drop Billy. That's my handle on DraftKings. Just a $3 entry fee, 75 max, but it runs no matter what. Top two will get paid. So fun contest, bragging rights. Some if we can get enough people in it, it's a pretty decent payout. So make sure you support the channel by doing so. And as many of you know, the Masters, without a doubt, heaviest on course history, experience of any of the other tournaments. There's always that set of players who consistently perform well here every year. Experience matters. Fade the debutantes, focus on the veterans. Augusta obviously demands that complete tee to green game. Players that can work their way around these shaved greens and can avoid the big numbers are all going to do well. So our stat models are powered by Fantasy National. And so shout out Moose and those guys there. We're going to dive right in and take a look at some models and see what we got going on. Let's go. So we should begin where we said with course history. And this is the tournament history here. I've got it sorted by strokes gained total. Obviously, your top guy is going to be Scotty Scheffler in the modern day here. I'm not sure how far the stats go back, but I'm sure they go back a decade at least. But he's just absolutely dominated this golf course. Uh, you can see how you can see how even Scotty Scheffler started off in his first couple of majors that just inside the top 20, which is good. But it took him a couple of times around the track to figure it out. But he nailed it in 2022. And then 2020, last year, obviously, he's the defending champion. Cameron Smith has been knocking on the door. John Rahm broke through in 2023. He's got several top 10 finishes. And you can just go, it goes on and on. You can just see the consistency. You have to go all the way down to Xander in 2022 that missed the cut. And then besides the WD, you go down here and then you got on. These are kind of somewhat anomalies in my opinion, but just to give you a brief look at that. Now let's jump over and look at some modeling. Obviously, distance off the tee can be useful, but not directly correlated to success. Approach is always going to be the most critical, but here it's more than that. I've got some rolling models to show you here in just a second. So this is the first model is just a recent form model, last 3 months, 36 rounds. And then this is the standard Masters updated model. You can see I kind of keep it simple. It's just, strokes gained par five is obviously huge. You need the birdies, the DK points, but you want to avoid trouble. So I got bogeys and doubles. And then I use, instead of around the green, I have around the green queued up for a rolling model. So I went with short game here because that involves the whole, with the shaved greens and everything. I feel like short game is like a good indicator of prowess around the greens altogether because putting is so important, as we'll show you here in a second. But you can see the ranking of the models, and our boy Seps number one right now with JT2. You got Spawn, Michael Kim, some interesting guys. there. Then you got your Rorys and your Scotties, your Deckies. Hideki, I would really like this week, but he's just and the driving's not all that important, but he's really not as dialed in with the irons, and he's always suspect at putting. I don't worry about him around the greens, but if his irons aren't dialed in, he could be putting the ball to the wrong part of the greens, which they call quadrants. Putting is about 35% of the total strokes gained, so that's a definite correlator. So and approach is about 40% of total strokes gained here. So those two stats alone account for the majority of your what you're working with here. So with a guy like Decky, you could say that if his approach game's not quite there, he's not going to be putting the ball on the proper spot on the greens, and he's going to struggle putting. So that's going to correlate to his lack of success. So let's take a look at another model next door here. This one is going to be the rolling model for approach. And what I wanted to see, these are just and these are actually rolling models for course history. The first model I showed you was just an overall recent form model, but these are going to be like the last uh, however many rounds at Augusta National. So, because I wanted to see who was figuring this course out, like the newer guys or whatever. So, Shane Lowry up there. But if you do the model ranking, you can see Patrick Cantlay is like the best. I mean, he had a little bit off year last year, but he's really one of the best. Him and Morikawa are the two best at approach, overall, consistency wise. I mean, it's obviously they're not going back that many rounds, but they'll go back 24. So if you're looking at the last 24 rounds, then he's been fourth, 11th, third, and fifth, or that's Xander. He's just been nothing but third, second, and just in the top five every year. He's for the last 6 tournaments. So Colin Morikawa, another guy that's very important. So this is something that I'll go through and I'll examine a lot more of. Will Zalatoris, you can see how he's improved his approach over the last from the last 8 to the last 4. Another guy, Keegan. Keegan's going to be an interesting guy in this golf tournament. Then you got like a Nick Dunlap. This might be I guess Nick Dunlap's played in 2 Masters. For him to have go from 9 to 6, I don't know that he's played in 3. Some of these real new guys, I'm not really sure how many actual rounds they have in this rolling model. But Tommy Fleetwood, he's worked his way up. You can see he goes back a long way, and Tommy Boy has really improved his approach game at Augusta. Guy like Bryson, you got to be leery of. We'll talk about him in a minute when we get to the live categories. But just to give you an idea, this is what I'm trying to find: different angles to just running just a bunch of stupid models. I just want to see, and this is the other one. This is around the green, and to see guys that are making big leaps. Of course, Patrick Reed's always been a wizard around the green. You can see how Hideki struggled last year. Hideki's usually great around the green, but then you got like Cam Smith. He's always great around the green. He's an absolute whiz. But there's guys down here like Jason Day. He's gotten much better over the last couple of years around the greens here. And then you have Akshay. He's pretty good around the greens. We know he's and Zalatoris is a guy that's kind of suspect, so it's good to see him in the top 20 at least. Terrell Hatton, big bump. Nick Højgaard, big bump. Benny On's always obviously a good one. There's Pavon. He's made some strides. So I just want to see if guys are learning. Eckroat, and then the rest of these guys down here are really not much to show. But that's your around the green rolling model. Now putting over here. And then this is, I actually sorted this by last 4 because I wanted to see we can do the model rankings this way too. But you can see like Cam Smith's always going to be consistently good with the putter. Justin Rose always really good with the putter. Fitzpatrick, and his game is just busted right now. I don't really know what's going on with him, but he's still normally a really good putter. Reed's always a good putter. Uh, and this was Ludwig Aberg or Oberg, and he is somebody that I am going to look to fade if he's really, really popular because I know he ball struck the shit out of it last year, finishing second, but he also gained 8 strokes putting, which bailed him, and he hit so many greens, it bailed him out or with the around the green because his around the green game's not all that either. So and he is a good putter, so it's not, but he's not gaining 8 strokes on the field this year putting wise. But Chris Kirk's another guy who's really good around the green. Bobby Mack's a guy I got interest in. You can see my favorites are already started. I got 23 guys in the pool that will reveal toward the end of the show here, so stick around. But just players. Normally, we'll sort this by salary with Scotty up top, and then go back over to the original model. Let's do that, and talk about some players here real quick, and then Scheffler began his career. Let's see. So Scheffler began his Masters career fall of 2020 when DJ won. He had those two just 18 and 19 finished, but you saw his third attempt. Obviously, things figured out. Now he's going to be a perennial threat every year to win it, in my opinion. John Rahm had multiple top tens, and then he had his breakthrough in 2023. Rahm is another guy I got opinions about too when we get to the live section. Rory has the best course history here without winning it. He's got top tens going back more than a decade, and he's in good form right now. He's already won twice this year, including the Players. So you got to look at that. Now you got a guy like Jordan Spieth who won it in 2015, who's a perennial top 10 finisher. Well, he was dealing with a wrist injury last year, so he did miss the cut last year, and I think he has one other missed cut along the way there. But sometimes that guy can just get into some trouble. But he is. But the reason he's so good here is he is just an amazing scrambler, and you can get away with not being accurate off the tee. So he knows how to get around these greens better than just about anybody. Now this year, when it comes to DFS, it's getting 6 of 6 through is what we all want. But with the field growing to over 90 players this year, it's going to be a little tougher with the 6 of 6, but it's still very generous because you still have the top 50 and ties for the cut line. So you're talking potentially, 55, 60 plus players. It depends on where the cut lands, depends on what the weather's doing with the wind and everything like that. And we did talk about Ludwig Oberg with his solo second last year, but he did gain 8 strokes putting, but he also gained like 6 ball striking. So it's not like he was just riding a hot putter the whole week. So that guy. Then you got tier two types who always seem to show up here. One guy is going to be very popular, obviously winning a lot. Or doing a lot better with the recent signature win was Russell Henley. He had a T4 a couple of years back, so he's probably he's a great ball striker, dials it in with the irons real well, and a very accurate driver of the golf ball. Then you got Willie Z. We talked about rebuilding his swing after the back injury, and I think he's rounding back into form again. So the live guys. Obviously, there are some ballers here, and 12 is going to make 12. I believe live guys will make the trip, but almost all of them have won the golf tournament. We got Sergio Garcia, Patrick Reed, Charles Schwartzel, Bubba's won it twice, DJ's won it, John Rahm's won it, Phil's won it 3 times. And then you got other guys like Brooks and Cam Smith, Terrell Hatton, Neiman, all of those guys knocking on the door. Bryson is one that's an anomaly. We saw the T6 last year, but largely due to a very soft golf course on Thursday. where he went out in the morning and shot a 7 under 65, and then he just kind of parlayed that into the rest of the week. So that will lead me actually into one and done. So one and done, with the live golfers now, everybody should look to use at least in half one or two of the majors, at least you should consider live golfers. I mean, you don't have to strictly use them, obviously, because with guys like Scotty and Rory there, you definitely want to. If you have Scotty, I'd probably just use him in the major. I don't know why I pissed him away earlier in the year. For some reason, I thought I was being cute and trying to get on him early rather than late, but I screwed that up. I did the same thing with Rory, and so right now, I do have 4 players, live players in the pool. Jon Rahm's not one of them. Jon Rahm had a terrible major season last year, and that was his first year on the live tour, playing the majors without a regular PGA schedule. And he miscut, or he's 45th at the Masters, miscut at the PGA Championship, and then he had some foot injury at the U.S. Open, and he withdrew from that. And I'm sure he would like to put that in his rear view. So he may come back this year and be strong again, but the other live players are like Neiman, Cam Smith. I got Phil in the player pool. I got Patrick Reed. So just 2 guys like Phil. Phil, I think, will make the cut. I think he's playing good enough golf, and he had that miracles run a couple of years ago. So I think the old guy has still got some upside. So I'll probably need a low-owned guy, so I am kind of considering Cam Smith. Other guys are like Colin Morikawa, who's just playing so well. I'm considering JT, Justin Thomas, just because he's back into the best form he's had in 2+ years. He should have won Valspar. I don't know how he didn't do that. He's gained over 3 or 4 strokes putting in the last 2 events coming in here, so that's important. But if he can just put it all together, he can make a run. Really, I'm looking for a big finish at least. Like I need definitely like a top 5, but like a second or a third, something like that. Maybe if I can get a win, that'd be great. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump back over and build a couple of lineups and get out of here, and we'll see what we got. Okay, so the first lineup, I think we should just start with Scotty and do a Scotty lineup first. Scotty and Rory, while doable, is really just going to hamstring you. I mean, you need 4 guys. I mean, you're going to have to go all the way down to the bottom, and then maybe hope that Mike Weir makes the cut. Mike Weir's playing some decent golf. And he's not all that old. He's not like a super old man or nothing. But you'd have to go down here and grab one of these Bubba's. I don't know what Bubba's deal is right now, but since he went to live, he hasn't really. He just like gave up golf. So really, that's just not a non-starter for me. Is trying to do a Rory Scotty lineup. Now, what I would like to do just first off is just because it's going to be Scotty, and then the next guy they're probably going to go after is one of these JTs or Decky. See, this is kind of interesting. Brooks is down here, but this mid to low 9K is where everybody's going to be looking. Probably going to bang. Probably going to bang on Fleetwood, maybe. I wouldn't mind Spieth, but for this first lineup, I'm going to skip everybody, and I'm just going to go straight down to Cam Smith, who I feel pretty comfortable with as a number 2 guy. And then a guy that's perennially very good here, who's playing some of his best good golf. We'll see how he does at Valero this week, but Corey Connors. So this is kind of a unique build where I just start with Scotty, and then I immediately go to the bottom of the 8Ks and go down from there. But then I don't really dip deep. I'm going through here, and then I'm going to go. Adam Scott's never missed a cut here, so we'll take him. Daniel Berger is finally rounding back to form. He's a great course fit. So now I got $7,200 left. And then you can go down here and you can take anybody you want down here. You can go Keegan, and you're still leaving 200 on the table. You can go, I think one of these lineups built had Chris Kirk in it. You can do Phil. Anybody. Oh, that's Michael Kim. He's in the Masters. Just FYI, he's just withdrew from Valero this week because he's obviously made the Masters, so he needs a week off. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of right there with the Scotty build initially, and then just try to be unique. And then if you want to go Rory for a build, you I'm going to do something probably similar, but you could go Rory and then skip the 9Ks, and then you just go right to Patrick Cantlay, and then that's a really good number two guy. Then you can run it back and you can hit that Corey Connors again, and then I like Sepp Straka here. He's just really good. He hits kind of now. It's not as big a deal as it used to be, but hitting that right to left ball flight was really important there for a while. That's why left-handers like Phil and Mike Weir won it that year. Bubba won it twice. So it was kind of a left-handed favoring golf course. So guys that can hit, right-handers that can hit the draw, which Sepp can do, which is helpful. He's very accurate off the tees. He's just absolute fire with his irons right now. The guy can putt. He's got a little around the green game. All the tools you would need to succeed. He'll probably be extremely popular. But then that leaves you with 7,300, and you can go Sergio Berger. Sergio's playing some really good golf, and then you got 500 on the table. You can do pretty much whatever you want there. There's so many opportunities and so many ways to build these lineups when the pricing's a little softer. Although I do appreciate them bumping Scotty up to 12.4. At least that makes you earn it a little bit with that. But then you could go with a more of a I mean, I wouldn't advise skipping the upper range because Scotty's absolutely going to be in the winning lineup. Uh, well, I guess he may not if he doesn't win, but I can't see him avoiding the top five here. He's just his game's just rounded into good enough form. He almost won Houston last week, just fell a little bit short. If Min Woo would have made one more bogey, he would have beat his ass in a playoff. You can believe that. So now, if you wanted to start, you could go. You could start with Neiman, Fleetwood. You could just do a super power build right here and just start with like JT and then Neiman and then Fleetwood or something like that. And then you're down to 7,300, but you could go down and do like a veteran like Chris Kirk or something, and then you're right back up in the mix, and then you can do whatever you want. You got the Zalatoris, you got Keegan, you got Thigala. I didn't mention Sahith. I bet Sahith at 90 to 1 to win the golf tournament. So whole tons of guys, and so we're gonna go ahead and call it a day. Hope you enjoyed it. In the background is kind of my opening player pool of 23 players, many of which I mentioned in the video. So shout out to the Flophouse, Billy Ho's Flophouse, the fellas. Appreciate you guys as always. I hope to hear a lot from you this week and the next. So let's get after it. Win some money. Till next time. See you.